Hi and Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to our channel Law Life Solution Series. This channel is not only meant to give solutions relating to law but also solutions relating to life. Now we'll begin our first lecture by attempting to define Islamic jurisprudence. And this, let me assure you, may only be made possible if we can familiarize ourselves with the concepts and definitions relating to Islam, relating to who is a Muslim, relating to the definitions of jurisprudence, so that ultimately we may be successfully able to define Islamic jurisprudence. So let's begin our journey right here and right away. What is Islam? The first question, what is Islam? The root word is salam, which means peace, from which comes aslama, which means he submitted, he resigned himself. The Webster's dictionary defines Islam as the religious faith of Muslims. But mind you, this is an incomplete definition, as Islam is an Arabic word, as defined above, and thus it means the act of resignation or submission of oneself to one God, that is Almighty Allah. Now, Islam is the religion which best suits the human nature as well. That is why it has been termed as Deen Fitrat, or the nature's religion by Almighty Allah Himself, the Creator Himself, and the religion of the rightful devotion, or the Deen Hanifa, as Allah says in the Holy Quran. I'll quote verse 30:30. Therefore, set right your face, that is direction of attention for the obedience of Allah, being the one rightfully devoted to Him alone. Now, this being the prelude to the definition of Islam, let's also analyze one historical aspect relating to overall general condition of the Muslim community, which speaks volumes about the truth of Islam. In the history, looking at the annals of history, whenever the Muslims as a community, as a ummah, adhere to the Islam in the right spirit and sense, for example, let me quote the periods of the first four rightly guided caliphs, the period of the Caliph Hazrat Umar bin Abdul Aziz Rahmatullah alayh, the period of the Ayyubis, the Abbasids, the Osmanis, Ghaznavids, Berbers, so on and so forth. They rose, they were the masters of the whole world, rather, they were dominating the world. But to the contrary, whenever Muslims as a community, they felt, they just, what you can say, went away from Islam, they led themselves astray from the rightful guidance of Islam, they declined, they were humiliated, and they rather led very poor lives. The examples can be the fall of the Baghdad, fall of the Spain, and the current condition of the Muslims at so many areas. Now, let me also clarify about Islam. Allama Iqbal has given a very beautiful comment. He says that the birth of Islam is the birth of inductive intellect. Now, what is inductive intellect? The art of creation, the art of excellent thinking regarding universe and so many things. Now, Briffault, an English scientist, admits and states thus: science owes a great deal to Arab culture. Now, this is a great remark in favor of the Muslims. Now, let's come to who is a Muslim. Now, I am going to attempt to define Muslim. Definition, it has been given in some of the articles of the Constitution which help us to define a Muslim. For example, Article 42, Article 94, then it's the third schedule of the article to the Constitution. Anyone can approach these articles and see for himself. Now, let me come to the Holy Quran and Sunnah. According to them, a Muslim is the one who believes in oneness of Allah, that is Tawheed, His Prophets ﷺ, His angels, His holy books, the day of judgment or Qiyamah, and the last prophethood of the holy prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now we come at a juncture when we should pick and try to analyze the definition of jurisprudence. The word jurisprudence has been derived from the Latin term jurisprudentia, which means knowledge of law or skill in law. Now, the word jurisprudence may be defined as follows. According to Osborne's Concise Law Dictionary, it is the science or theory of law, the study of the principles of law. Cicero says it is the philosophical aspect of the knowledge of law. Salmon says we may define jurisprudence as the science of civil law. Now, as we have analyzed the relevant areas, the areas relating to Islam, Muslim and jurisprudence, we can combine all of them so that we can come up with a suitable definition of Islamic jurisprudence. And mind you, this was not so easy to define. Now, the origin or roots of the Islamic jurisprudence, they are the Holy Quran and the Sunnah themselves. In order to understand them in their principles fully, the knowledge of fiqh was developed. And so many great personalities had a great part and great role to play in this regard, starting from the period of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, then that of the companions, their successors, the great Imams, and so on and so forth. Now we come to the meaning of the word fiqh. It means, the word fiqh means understanding or knowledge. And this word fiqh has been mentioned in the Holy Quran, it has been mentioned in the Sunnah, and at so many other places in the jurisprudence. Now, in the, of course, jurisprudence of Islam. Now, according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi, one pet definition is this: fiqh is a knowledge of what is for a man's self and what is against a man's self. Or in other words, it is the science of rights and obligations of man and of the right path he should follow. So, keeping in view the definition of jurisprudence and the fiqh, we can now generally define Islamic jurisprudence as the philosophical knowledge and the scientific study of the sources and the basic principles of Islamic law. This was the main theme for today. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Thank you to all of you.